Hello everybody and welcome to your history class. In today's chapter, we are going to be learning about the sources of history. This is chapter 2 of our history textbook. So let's begin. The value that we will be practicing today in today's session is critical thinking. So put on your thinking caps and be all set with your notebook and pen as we begin learning. Before we even understand the chapter, let us try to learn what is the meaning of a source. Source क्या होता है? हम यहाँ पे sources of history सीख रहे हैं, तो source क्या होता है? So source is a person, place or a thing from where something starts or something is obtained or found. यानी जहां पे हमें कुछ मिलता है या फिर जहां से कुछ स्टार्ट होता है. तो ये है दो कीवर्ड्स सोर्स के. वन इज स्टार्ट एंड वन इज समथिंग इज फाउंड और obtained. एग्जाम्पल लेते हैं इसे और समझने के लिए. जैसे सोर्स ऑफ रिवर, यानी ये रिवर कहाँ से स्टार्ट होता है, कहाँ से ओरिजिनेट होता है. सोर्स ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन की बात करें, जैसे कि हम क्लास में आके शेयर करते हैं, दीदी टुडे दिस इज द फैक्ट ऑफ द डे. व्हेन दीदी आस्क्स यू वेयर डिड यू लर्न दिस फैक्ट फ्रॉम, you share that didi I found this in the encyclopedia. A better way of speaking is, didi the source of my information is the encyclopedia. यानी आपने ये फाइंड किया, यू फाउंड दिस इन द एनसाइक्लोपीडिया. सो योर सोर्स ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन इज द एनसाइक्लोपीडिया. सोर्स ऑफ लर्निंग इन क्लास इज योर टीचर, यानी दीदी इज योर सोर्स ऑफ लर्निंग, राइट. सो सोर्स में टू कीवर्ड्स हैं, एक स्टार्ट यानी शुरुआत, या फिर जहां पे हमें कुछ मिलता है. जब हम सोर्स ऑफ हिस्ट्री की बात करें, व्हाट वुड दैट मीन देन? सोर्स ऑफ हिस्ट्री और एक हिस्टोरिक सोर्स एक पर्सन हो सकता है, एक प्लेस हो सकता है और एक थिंग हो सकता है फ्रॉम वेयर वी नो अबाउट द स्टार्ट ऑफ हिस्ट्री, यानी हिस्ट्री की शुरुआत कहाँ से हुआ, या फिर मुझे ये एविडेंस यानी प्रूफ कहाँ से मिला. Pause the video, write down this because it's very important to find out where are we getting all this information from, right? So pause, write down, underline the keywords, जो भी bold में है ये हमारे important words है. Once you have copied this down in your book, let's move ahead. So the big question is, because a blue whale is quite big, right? So the big question is, what if no evidences from the past existed? यानी अगर हमें कुछ भी नहीं मिलता पास्ट से, ये पास्ट के बारे में जानना इतना जरूरी क्यों है? By the end of this video, you should feel a little more confident about your answers. जैसे हमें पता चलता है कि आज जो है वो क्यों है. एक कनेक्शन बनाता है हिस्ट्री पास्ट और प्रेजेंट के बीच में. तो अगर हमारे पास कोई एविडेंस नहीं होता तो हमें पता ही नहीं चलता कि कहाँ से आया है ये, राइट. So our objective today is that we will be able to classify यानी make groups, या फिर हिंदी में जैसे हम कहते हैं छाटना, and describe यानी we will be able to tell me more about something. About what? About the sources of history. क्योंकि sources of history हम जानते हैं, अभी हम उसे और डिटेल में थोड़ा सीखने वाले हैं. Again, write down our objective, write down the meaning of the words, and once we are ready, we can move ahead. Quick time to recall. हमने जो 5th standard में सीखा है, what are the 3 main types of sources of history? 3 sources types होते हैं हमारे history के. What is that? That is right. It is material source, यानी कोई भी चीज, an object. Okay, यहाँ पे एक pot है मेरे पास. So the pot is an example of a material source. Written source, written यानी क्या है, लिखना. ओके, अ रिटन सोर्स यानी जैसे कोई मुझे बुक है, मेरे घर में कोई कुरान है, ओके, सो एनी, या फिर गीता है जो रिटन सोर्स है यानी लिखा हुआ है, ओके. या फिर ओरल सोर्स यानी जो बोल के मुझे पता चल जाता है. सो जैसे स्टोरीज हो सकते हैं, गाने हो सकते हैं. सो ऐसे ही अपने कॉलम बना लो अपने बुक में, एरो बना के. 3 types of sources: material, written and oral. and write down at least 2 examples below it. अगर material की बात करूं तो 2 example क्या हो सकते हैं? I can think of some utensils, maybe some pot. Okay, that is material. Just like that, can you write down for written and oral as well? Once we have done this, we are ready to go ahead. These are many new words. I am confused. I don't know the meaning of many of these words, okay? But I think writing them down will help me remember. So I am going to write these words in my book. And as I learn in this video, I will be able to understand many of these words so much better. So writing it all in one place will help me. यानी एक जगह लिखने से जब भी मैं कुछ भूल जाऊं, whenever we say Didi, I forgot, I can go to my word bank and recall what is the meaning of those words. So write down these 8 words and their meaning just below where we have mentioned the earlier notes. Once I have completed that, I have Flintstone over here with his vehicle, which is made of stone. It is a material source of history, right? Because Flintstone belonged to the earlier generation, and here he has a car which is made of stones and it runs on his legs. Yeah. We are going to be taking Dino, which is Flintstone's a machine here, like we have JCBs now. Okay, this is our Dino JCB, and we're going to dig deeper. खोदने वाले हैं जब तक हमें थोड़ा और details नहीं मिलता है about the sources of history. Can you spot the differences and similarities in this picture? I can think of one major similarity is that the characters are the same. यानी दोनों में ये एक आदमी, one man and one woman. Okay, I can see that. What other similarity I can see? I can see that the male character, okay, is also similar. Okay, the hair of the male character is similar. Hair of male character, even if you don't know who it is the same. Okay, some difference I can spot is that the jewelry is missing, so the necklace is missing. One more I can see that the fork is not present. Fork is not present. यानी fork मतलब क्या? जो खाने की ये चीज है, यहाँ पे एक चीज मिसिंग है, राइट? तो ये मुझे नहीं मिल रहा है. ये मुझे मिला मेरा similarities और differences ये picture में. Very easily I was able to do it. Just like that, when I look at these 2 pictures, what are some similarities and differences I see? And to identify this, I have a few thinking questions, okay? So first one is, what does it make me think? What can I think about when I see these ये चीजें बहुत पुराने हैं, तो it is making me think, okay, that these are from the past. Okay, some similarities that I see are that this looks very old. ये past का है, ये भी past का ही है. So similarities यानी अगर मैं कहीं जा रही थी, ये दोनों अगर एक source of history है मेरे लिए, they are all things. So I think similarity is they are both material sources. But when I think of a difference, I can see that one is like a place. Okay, Ajanta is a place. Like a place to stay, it seems like. But the sculpture is an object. What are they telling me about the past? I think the cave is telling me that this is where people stayed probably. And the sculpture is, I think, people looked like this, शायद. या फिर ये कुछ बुद्धा जैसा लग रहा है, okay, like Gautam Buddha, maybe. So then maybe they worshipped him. So maybe it is some god or something like that. Or maybe it is their king, because we often make things for people who are prominent. I can think of the Statue of Unity that is there. Okay, हम लोग सब important लोगों के लिए ये सब करते हैं, तो शायद ये लोग important थे तभी. Okay, so that is what it is making me think. And from this I can tell that material sources तो थे दोनों, but of key difference is that certain things are used in our daily life and certain things are fixed structures, यानी building जैसे कुछ चीजें होती है. So if I think about, let's pause this video and read it, okay? I can think about two basic categories, यानी material sources भी दो type के होते हैं. एक होते हैं structures, okay? Structures यानी जो fixed है, कुछ building जैसे कुछ तो है. और एक होते हैं artifacts, okay? So structures and artifacts. Artifacts matlab kya? Artifacts, I can see, this is important, I should write it in my book. Artifacts are things which are used in our daily life, right? Which tell us more about how people lived. Now, suppose I found a sword, okay, of Shivaji Maharaj. I know that, oh, so this is what he used for fighting. But when I see Fort Shivneri or something, I know that, oh, this is the fort that Shivaji Maharaj used. For what he must have used it? Probably they used to keep all the things there. Probably they used to stay there. Similarly, the caves that we saw earlier could be used for all these things, right? They are structures which are fixed and they form a very, very important part of history, right? Both of them give us information, but they give us different types of information, right? But they are both material sources of history. ठीक है, ये पार्ट हम पॉज करके अच्छे से लिख के समझेंगे. I want you all to write a few examples down as well. Anything that you think of, it could be either a temple or a mosque, okay? They are also examples of structures, okay? Structures यानी building जैसे कुछ भी जो रहता है, caves, okay? Stupas एक नया word है, हमारे word bank में भी ये है. Go and see what it means. It is something which looks like a dome, okay? यानी एक semicircle जैसा होता है ऊपर. So that is a stupa. Can you search any stupa in India that we have? Once you have done that, we can move ahead. This is a quick activity that we have to complete. Just write down all the artifacts and all the structures that you see in this slide. Now that we have finished material sources, do you think that when man started writing letters, directly उसने ABCD से start कर दिया कि चलो let's write, I know all the alphabets? Is it like that? No, right? Obviously that's not possible. ऐसे ही जैसे evolution हो गया, हमने लिखना शुरू कर दिया alphabets लेके जैसे हम क्लास में लिखते हैं. No, it is not like that, right? We have learned in our earlier grades as well. First we started with drawings, यानी पहले हमने start क्या किया drawings से, क्योंकि वो आसान होता है, कुछ language की जरूरत नहीं होती है. So first we started with drawings. Here we can see some animals, here we can see some hands. Then they started using some signs and symbols, यानी इसका मतलब ये होता है, उसका मतलब वो होता है, which we were not able to understand. Then first drawings, then signs and symbols, then one proper language came to be formed. Okay, so this is the order. Write down the order: drawings first, signs and symbols, and then language. Do you know which is the oldest surviving language in the world? आपको पता है ये? This is an interesting fact. One hint is that this language is found in India. Okay, Didi is going to reveal the answer in 3, 2, and 1. It is Tamil, okay? That is spoken in Tamil Nadu a lot. So the oldest surviving language is Tamil. Okay, people say that it is probably 4500 BC. Okay, we have learned this, right? BC years old. So 4500 BC years old, probably Tamil is. There is no fixed evidence, but they say that it is that old. Okay, so this is the oldest surviving language that is there. Now, what all were written? ये क्यों लिखते थे, क्या लिखते थे? We know that they would probably be writing their thoughts, their ideas. वो लोग क्या सोचते हैं, क्या समझते हैं. Okay, they will be writing about the events around them. क्या हो रहा है, क्या चल रहा है आजकल. Their feelings, because it is important to write down. ये सब वो अपने हाथ से लिखते थे, right? It was all written. तभी थोड़ी था typing. Okay, they did not have keyboard and mobile and all that to type, so they would write it with their hand. Okay, such things are called manuscripts. This is a new word for us. Manuscripts are something that are written with hand. But they also used inscriptions, right? Inscriptions यानी क्या है, यहाँ पे हमें देख रहा है कि वो पत्थर से कुछ बना रहे, यहाँ पे तो drawing बना रहे. But just like this, they used to even carve out the letters. Okay, they used to carve out the letters. उसे हम inscriptions कहते हैं. Remember these keywords: manuscripts, inscriptions. What did they write with that? So either some orders, some judgments, some decisions. Then later they started writing stories, plays, some travelogues. Travelogues are stories or events about our travels. Now these are all the written sources. Quickly note down all the written sources. So they wrote about various things. This is very easy for us to understand because we also write about the same things, right? It is just that abhi hum log type karte hain likhne ke jagah pe. So note it down what was written about. And once we have written that, we will see where is it that it was written. Now this is called potsherds. Okay, what was this? These are broken pieces of clay pots or earthenware. यानी देखो हम देख सकते हैं कि कुछ टूटा फूटा सा लग रहा है. So this was, they used to write on this. They also used some copper and stone plates. यानी कोई भी copper रहता था, so they would inscribe on that. They used to carve on that. Or they used to use the birch branches. Yani these are tree branches that have been used as pages to write. So these were the three main things that were used for writing. Okay? Make a quick note of this and move ahead. This is an activity for us, very, very interesting. If you had to write about something for 2020 or 2021, yani imagine 100 years from now, somebody will discover what you have written. What would you like them to know about the year 2021? Okay, so what would you write about? Quickly do this activity. Very, very interesting to be creative. Last but not the least, we come to oral sources. Oral sources is something that was spoken about, like songs or stories. So something that was there was Ovi, which is known as poems. Okay, now these were not written anywhere. It was just passed on by word of mouth. यानी वो बोलते थे and we used to listen, और ऐसे ही pass on हो जाता था. And even folk songs and stories, just like our grandparents tell us some stories, right? So just like that, these stories have been passed on. But there are three very important literatures which were preserved by the oral tradition. यानी वो कहीं पे लिखा नहीं था, सिर्फ बोल के उनका literature pass on हुआ, which is the Vedic literature. Vedic literature is the Hindu literature. Okay, the Buddhist literature and the Jain literature. Three keywords: Vedic, Buddhist and Jain literature. This was preserved by oral tradition. Okay, यानी ये बोल के, बाद में इसे लिखा गया, लेकिन mainly it was preserved by oral tradition. Make a quick note of these new words: OVs, which are like poems, and folk stories and songs, which we already know about. Author is unknown, यानी हम पता नहीं है, हम बस सुन के जानते हैं उसके बारे में. And the three important literatures. Now we're going to quickly recap. I hope you have understood each part of this video. If you are confused with a certain part, kindly go back and re-watch it because it's important for us to know. Quick revision: source, yani two keywords, start or something to be found. Historic source tells us where these evidences were found or how did this start. Three types of sources, material, written and oral. When I think of material sources, two main categories, एक है structures, एक है artifacts. दीदी के साथ साथ हम सीखेंगे वरना मुश्किल हो जाएगा. अगर आप confused हो, pause करके let's learn it quickly. Structure यानी building जैसा कुछ, like a building where different parts come together. थोड़े examples है fort, any castle, palace, temple, stupa. Artifacts यानी जो daily life में use किया जाता है, coins, some jewelry, some weapons, okay, that was used earlier. Then when it comes to written sources में manuscripts यानी written by hand, inscriptions यानी carved in the stone, and we have travelogues which were about travel events. Now oral sources, OVs and folk songs, three main literatures, Vedic, Buddhist and Jain. Okay, one part that is left is that where did we write the written sources? The written sources were on copper plates, on birch branches, and what was the last one? Can you recall? Yes, that is for you to find out. Okay, the last part. I hope you said the answer. Now, the last part, pause the video, take a screenshot. You are going to be answering all these questions in your notebook. Write the question and answers. If you have missed out on any part of your notes, kindly rewind and watch that part again. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Thank you for watching, and I hope you are feeling much more confident after studying this a little better.